Walk us through the positioning here.
Sure. So if you want to see how dramatic that OPEC announcement in Algiers actually was, all you have to do is take a look at this positioning data. We've seen short positions in WTI futures and options fall 28% over the past 3 weeks. We've seen longs up about 1.2%, but the combination of those two moves means that net longs are up something like, 13% over a 3-week period. Now there's a lot of debate over whether or not some of the shorts will begin to come back into the market ahead of OPEC's meeting in Vienna next month. That could be a risky trade. You're basically betting that there won't be any sort of announcement on specific quotas at that meeting, which seems rather unlikely given the importance of that to the oil price right now.
Tracy, we still have more than a month to go before the OPEC meeting in Vienna. I mean, what will the market be watching until then?
Sure. So you and Youssef both know that everyone's keeping a very close eye on actual production oil. Last week, we saw Russia confirm that it was at a post-Soviet record in terms of production. We've seen Iraq say that it wants to keep pumping. Today, we have sources telling us that Libya, an OPEC member, is pumping something like 540,000 barrels a day. It seems set to increase that number to 900,000 by the end of this year. So actual production data is important, but it can only tell you so much because, of course, people are going to be trying to get their money's worth ahead of any production cut, specific quotas that would be announced in Vienna. Now, the other thing that we've seen is a lot of analysts dusting off the old history books, which is quite interesting. A lot of people looking at previous OPEC production cuts to try to read into the current situation. For instance, I was looking at Adam Longson over at Morgan Stanley's recent research note. He's looking at the 1980s OPEC production cut parallel. However, he says that if you look at that particular instance, it doesn't actually bode well for oil prices. Oil only actually recovered something like 65% of the drop that it had sustained before the production cut. So it never really recovered to the full degree. But certainly a lot to chew on before we head over to Vienna.